Om Shanti, how are you? Today we are going to see about Avatar 2 and its how it's related to the original heaven, because the dream world, the Pandora that the movie shows is strongly resembling many things in heaven. Maybe that is the main reason for this tremendous success of Avatar series, and the 3D effect that we receive while watching Avatar 2 is something we have never experienced in any of the other movies. People of all ages would definitely love that movie, and they love watching it more than once. I believe everybody loves the 14-year-old teenage girl Kiri in that movie. But it is really hard to believe that the woman who played that role is actually 73. Though I love the whole of the movie, I would still like to share some things that's mentioned in the movie that is not actually true. Though it is possible to create a clone of somebody, but it is still not possible to transfer the memory of somebody into his clone or into somebody else, because our memory is stored in the mind, which is not in any part of the brain, but it is an integral part of the soul itself. Our soul is like a tiny star, which is very tiny, that can never be seen either through naked eye or through any scientific equipments. So it shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why Hindus have this habit of wearing religious symbols, tilaks, in between the eyebrows. So although soul is very tiny, the mind is a part of the soul. So the only way to transfer the memory from one body to another body is to transfer that soul from that body into another body, which is impossible. So it is possible for a soul to come out of the body after the death of that body. So it is equally possible for that soul to enter any body as a ghost. And that is the main reason ghosts are able to remember the relatives of it even after its body is burnt. And one thing I really love so much about this movie, in addition to the visual treat, is how the protagonist of the movie consistently speaks against violence. Also, I love the way they showed the loving bond between the novice and the both the terrestrial and aquatic animals, and also the soul tree. And I love the way they communicate with each other below the sea. So they just show some gestures to communicate with other humans, novice, and also with that big fish called Poikon. So the bond between Lok and Poikon is truly amazing. Director has actually succeeded in making us feel as if the Poikon was speaking to Lok. Actually, it's not speaking, it's not creating any sound, but still we tend to feel as if it's speaking. Actually, that's how the true heaven of God would be. There, humans will be able to communicate with other humans and other animals without uttering words. So it will be mostly gestures. I believe watching such movies quite often will turn people towards vegetarian diet automatically. It's really stunning to see how Giri, out of some meditative state after connecting herself to the soul tree, is able to direct the bioluminescent fish towards her mom and sister who were caught in the ship with absolutely no light. And God says, if you are able to stay calm both at the mind level and at your physical level, the five elements will be absolutely under your control. The inspiration to do Avatar came from James Cameron's childhood dreams, where he saw a bioluminescent grand forest. Actually, God says heaven during night will be lit brightly, so maybe it is also bioluminescent. Of course, Pandora is very beautiful and pleasant to our eyes, but the true heaven is million times more beautiful than Pandora. Not only it's going to be beautiful in terms of nature, but also people there would be so wealthy that they would be living in a home built out of golden bricks. And the greatest news is heaven is not out somewhere. This world was originally created as heaven in the beginning by God. That was 5,000 years ago. And the good news is this world is going to be converted again into heaven pretty soon. So there is no need to think about escaping this planet into some Pandora, because truly there is no other place in the universe that human or any organism can sustain. Elon Musk predicts the destruction of this world, so he wants to save humans by taking them into Mars. Of course, the world will get destroyed, but guess what? The soul is imperishable. So, not only that, there will still be some little amount of people in the world even when the whole world gets destroyed. So, it is from them people will start multiply again. So, God reveals this. Actually, as all religions mention, God comes in the end. He enters an old man's body just 100 years before the destruction of this old world. So that is now. And he names that old man into whom he enters as Brahma, and he starts giving this divine message called Murli, that's available absolutely free of cost in all Brahma Kumaris Rajog meditation centers, and it is also available in many YouTube channels and websites. I'll be giving the link of them in the description below. Please make use of it. So what God basically does is to give us the knowledge to purify ourselves, because we originally were the residents of heaven 5,000 years back. It is after taking several rebirths that we have attained this state that we are now. So the heaven continued to be heaven for the first 2,500 years, and it slowly turns to hell in the last 2,500 years. So God, so this time cycle is called a kalpa. So God comes in the end of every kalpa to make this old world or hell back to heaven. So that is the sole duty of God. So God reveals the heaven continued to be heaven free of any sorrow, mainly because the residents of heaven, called deities, whom Hindus worship till date, they had absolutely no traces of any vice like lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. Instead, they were filled with divine qualities like love, peace, and blissfulness and purity. So, these divine qualities were not found only in humans but also in all other animals of heaven, which is why you see in many scriptures that it is mentioned lion and cow take water from the same pond at the same time in heaven. So, the essence of God's teaching is that we need to consider ourselves to be the soul that controls this body, and we are not this perishable body, because we, while in heaven, used to be soul conscious. It is only after the first 2500 years we became body conscious, because of which we became addicted to the sensual pleasures, thereby became slaves of these five vices. So we started committing more and more sins, because we have become more and more selfish, because of which we turn this world into hell. Not only that, as the consequence of the sins we committed, we start getting the punishments in the form of diseases, quarrel within the family, and betrayal, and the world wars. So that's the reason the world gets destroyed, because people have become more and more selfish. So God teaches us to get rid of selfish, which is only achieved by becoming soul conscious again. So all we need to do is to consider ourselves to be the souls that sees through the eyes, listens through the ears, speaks through the mouth, and performs everything using this body. So, and the Father of all souls is the Supreme Soul, and his name is God Shiva. So that's how Hindus call him, and Muslims call him Allah, and Christians call him Heavenly Godfather, not Jesus Christ, because God doesn't take birth as human. He doesn't enter a mother's womb, so he doesn't have a body of his own, which is why nobody can say God. Nobody has ever seen God. So God is free of all the vices all the time. He is ever pure, because he has not taken body on his own. So it is by connecting our mind to the Supreme Soul that we become as pure as God gradually. It takes time and effort. Actually, this is the true soul tree. This looks like an inverted tree, right? So this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also. Actually, this is not a tree, but it looks like a tree. It is the accumulation of souls in the supreme abode called Parandam or Parlok. So this is where God resides all the time, and we souls, before taking birth in earth, resided along with God there. So from there we started taking birth in heaven, and we started taking several rebirths. So after, by the end of 5000 years, we become so impure as we are now. So that is why God gives this knowledge or secret to purify ourselves, so that we can become eligible to take birth in heaven again. Because what follows the world destruction is nothing but the heaven filled with everything one needs to stay happy all the time. I really wonder how it would be if James Cameron happened to visit Brahmakumari Center and accept this God's knowledge and start taking a movie based on the true knowledge of God. So that would really create a great impact on everybody around the world, so that it is going to be very easy for everybody to get the knowledge of God. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be very nice if that happens. Because we are not attracted to any worldly things in heaven, we stay calm all the time, because of which 5 elements will be totally under our control for the first 2500 years. So all we need to do to purify ourselves and to make us eligible to enter heaven is to remember God as a point of light that shines like a tiny star in the golden red colored world. So that's how that place would look like. So you can visualize God as a tiny star in the golden red colored sky. After considering yourselves to be the soul, the more we spend time in remembering God, the more purer we will become. In addition, we need to learn the direct knowledge of God called Murli, which is available in all Brahmakumaris Rajoga Meditation Center. That's spread across the globe. It's absolutely free of cost. So as I mentioned earlier, you can also access Murli online from the websites and YouTube channels. You can Google it yourself, or you will find the link of some of them in the description below this video. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching.